ending.
Giving all glory and honor and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakaha Kadash. Double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us 100% truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, what makes up the makeup of the 144,000 rest set of men, women, and children. Shalom and salutations. I'm your brother Magan Shalamar. This is a quick video. The title of this will be, Shall They Not Rise Up and Suddenly They Shall Bite Thee? Because this is where America, known as Babylon the Great, she's been waking up to the fact that her allies, who are also part of the beast, because they're waking up to the fact that America started this war with Iran, and America and Israel want these people to help them, and nations like Norway is saying no, they're not getting involved, and they are blaming Israel and they're blaming America for creating this war, and by them doing so, causing the European countries to go without their resources to everyday living. It's causing a crisis over there. So Norway is a part of NATO, as a part of the EU. Okay, so we're gonna let this video play. Fair use, not for monetary gain, but for educational purposes only. Fair use.
I think we are not part of this war. We did not initiate it, but we are all affected by it. So I think there's a clear call here that international law must be respected, and it should be the responsibility of the concerned parties to find ways of ending the hostilities that now have great impact around the world. We are concerned to see that there is still an escalation. There are still worries about how the world economy will be affected by the energy situation around the Gulf. For our part, we will use any channel we have, any opportunity we have to urge the parties to find a way that will not escalate this war. I think that's what we can say. It is not our war. It seems to us that the plan for how it will develop is pretty unclear, and that's the danger with initiating wars, that they rarely follow a script. I think we are not part of.
I want to correct myself. Norway is part of NATO, not the EU, but part of NATO. So we're going to start at Revelation 13:1. It says, And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. And the sea represents the sea of people. In Revelation chapter 17, verse 15 tells you that the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are people, multitudes, nations, and tongues. And that beast represents people. It says having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his 10 horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. So that beast represents the people, and those people are the European government. So the 7 heads represents the European government when Esau first came into power. Right, so we're going to get that real quick. We're going to tell you who the 7 governments were, or the kingdoms ruled by Esau. Was Germania Major, Germania Minor, Rome, France, Spain, Greek, and British. Right, so out of those 7 European or Esau's 7 governments, they came out 10 horns, and those 10 horns represents the EU and NATO. Now, EU was first became established in 1958, although it did start earlier in 1957, but 1958 is when it became established, and it was established very shortly with these 10 European countries. They're the Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, and West Germany. So today is a lot more, but that's what they started out with. They started out very shortly after they first became established. They went from 6 and went to 10, and then from 10 they tried to offset prophecy by adding more. But we you know we're not taking in Esau's conniving ways. So now the NATO, which is also a part of them 10 horns, consists of these European countries. This Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, West Germany, Portugal, Canada, United States, Turkey, Iceland, Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, and Norway. Now, what that video just shows you was Norway. The Prime Minister is showing you that he's not with the United States. He's not standing with the United States on this. They started the war. They better figure out how to end the war, and because they are costing the European countries, the rest of NATO countries over there, to feel the effect of not having that oil being produced to them. So this is Revelation 13:1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And those blasphemies are the Edomites, Esau's, his philosophies, his religion, his architect, all this wickedness about Esau. You know, him pushing the alphabet community. You know, he blasphemed the name of the Most High Yahweh. He blasphemed the name of Yahweh Shai, his only begotten son. You know, calling him Jesus over here, mainly here in America, because America is that bitch, that whore that sits on the back of the beast. You know, so you know she's the one who's in control, and who's in control of her is the top banking families. The international banking families control all these European countries. These are the small hats that are behind the scene, making this beast do a bidding. So this is how they're going to push in that new world order, which is a micro C-hip, right? It's going to come upon the whole earth, right? So you got the beast, and you got the rest of the allies of, or rest of these countries also is in bed with the top banking families. They control them all as well, because China a couple of weeks ago started to implement the micro C-hip on their civilians over there voluntarily. They're getting the brain chip, the neuro brain chip put in their heads. So you see on news, it seems like China is against America and they are at odds, but in reality, behind the scenes, they all is under the control of the small hats, you know, the international banking family. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and see and set me upon the tower. And that's talking about the great millstone. Out of One West, great millstone is preaching this 100% truth, because they're sitting out on their watch every day on the highways and byways, bringing out this truth about who this devil is and what is his end goal. His end goal is that new world order, which is that micro C-hip. That's what should be, you know, like the elder apostles always bring out. This is the time of prophecy, and you should be warning the people about the mark of the beast. But the other camps are not doing that, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai answered me and said, write this vision and make it plain upon tables. And these tables are the Holy Scriptures, that he may run that readeth it, right? Because this truth is going out through the internet, and it's and people are being and the reaching the elect, and the elect is coming back to the fold of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And this is the time we're seeing that this is the appointed time that this end is coming, because we starting to see these wars burl up. We're starting to see this economy and the dollar, petrodollar, starting to fall, and that has to happen in order for them to bring in the MOTB. They got to bring in the digital currency that's going to eventually lead to the mandate or the mandatory micro chip being placed in your right hand or forehead in order to buy or sell, right? And that's going to affect the whole entire earth, rich or poor, small or great, free or bond, everyone. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith." And the just is talking about the hopeful elect, that the remnant of Yahweh Shai, people that's been written in the book. You know, those men and the women, men and children. You know, but the 144,000, you know, they're not going to bend a knee to Baal system, to this devil's system. They're not going to take that chip. But Esau, Edom, he has been lifted up. His soul, which is lifted up, meaning he's so proud, you know. And there's no righteousness in Esau. He's only here to do wicked, and he's only doing his job. So what we're seeing on TV, you know, you're being wicked if you're praying for America to be to prosper and be great again. You know, we pray for this downfall of America. We pray for the World War III to come and destroy America. A ball. I mean, we want this place known as Babylon, ancient Egypt, to be destroyed through the nuclear destruction. Because we know once Esau's kingdom go down, Yahweh Shai is going to bust through that sky. You know, he's going to crack the sky with his holy angels inside those chariots. And he's going to be raining down the holy laser beams from them chariots, man. There's going to be a lot of bloodshed here in America. Only the elect is going to make it out. And we, in the hopeful elect, I pray that we are the hopeful elect, that we're going to be taken out at the 7th trump. So before those ICBM missiles come out, I pray that we'll be taken up out of here. It says, "Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, that wine again in his philosophies, he is a proud man." And no other than Trump alone, you see how Yahweh had put that spirit on Trump from the left-hand side to be pre that cruel Lord. You know, we don't know anyone else that could be as cruel as him. We pray he's the one that's going to issue it in, because he's Nero, you know. And spirit, we pray that he is Nero, you know. And who enlargeth his desire as hell, and as death cannot be satisfied, right? Because hell is the grave. You know, the grave is never full. So hell is never satisfied, because meaning the grave is never full. There's always room for another body. And is as death and cannot be satisfied. That's who they are. They bring death, you know. They bring death. Revelation chapter 6 and 4. They take peace from the earth. And they have to kill one another. That's all Esau does since he's been in power. Going back into the Hellenistic Empire, when Greek Empire, when Alexander the Great, or the Greek, or the Creep, we call him, came into power, you know. And he gave his when he died, before he died, he gave his empire to his 4 generals, Ptolemy, Cassandra, Lacemeos, and Seleucus. I hope I didn't mess their names up, you know. And that's when the evil was multiplied on the earth, you know. So this devil been doing evil ever since they first came into power. And then they regained their power for a very short time now in the Renaissance era. And that's when they are here on this earth right now for that short time, and they deceived the whole earth. But right now, these other nations are starting to wake up. The rest of the world is starting to wake up to who this devil is, beginning with the Amalek, the small hats. You know, there's some wicked ass, deaf, greedy, can't be satisfied, and this is what it's talking about. You know, it's those damn Edomites. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what we're seeing now playing out. They already went over and kidnapped Argentina's president. Now they over in Iran want to take over their oil so that they can build back America, because they know the economy in America is crashing. And without that, then they know that American petrodollar is going to fall, and they're not going to, the rest of the world isn't going to use America dollar to trade. But that's prophecy is going to happen, So we're seeing that right now. It says, "Shall not these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." And that thick clay is debt. America is so much in debt. He's trying to take over everyone else's land. He done conquered us at one point, and took everything we was who we are. They took over our identity, took our land, everything they got. They stole from the Israelites. Everything on this world, all the wealth that belongs to us, and we're going to get it back when Yahweh Shah HaMashiach come back and crack that sky and set up his kingdom here on earth. And we shall rule in the kingdom of men. So hopefully, again with the 144,000, I pray that I'm a part of the 144,000. I pray I'm a part of the hopeful elect. It says, "Shall they not rise up suddenly, that they shall bite thee, and await that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them." And that's what's happening now. They're starting to wake up. I'm going to read that again. "Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee?" And they're going to bite. They biting. They're starting to wake up and bite. This was a bite from Norway, when they was like, "No, we're not getting involved in that. You can ask for help, but we didn't start this war. You could have went by other means of negotiations. You chose to go to war with Iran. Now you want us for help, get us involved, so Iran can send missiles out to our country and destroy us like they're doing Israel." And they're like, nah. And see, they supposed to be a part of NATO. They supposed to be a part of the seven heads, the 10 horns. And NATO is starting to wake up, man. And that's why we're about to read Revelation chapter 17. We'll go to right verse 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." We just went over the 10 horns, who they were. It's NATO and the EU. "And they shall hate the whore." Who is the whore? America. It says, "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Right. She going bankrupt, and once they're going, all the small hats doing right now is sucking the rest of the blood that's left out of America. I mean, all the economics, you already seeing these banks are starting to close, businesses starting to close and move elsewhere where it's a lot cheaper. They throwing that whore to the side now, man. She used up. Her walls is gone. She ain't that beautiful whore no more. They going to they like any whore, they throwing it to the side like, bitch, get out of here. And they're gonna burn her with fire, those ICBM missiles, that nuclear fire during World War III, when that World War III kicks off. Again, that's not going to happen till after the microchip come out, the RFID micro C hit. That has to take place first, and then they're going to burn her with fire. The nuclear missiles coming from ICBM missiles, starting with Russia and all Russia, China, and all their allies, Turkey, and people like Norway. All of those people is hating the whore, so they're gonna join side with Russia, and you're gonna see why America is gonna become that lake of fire. So with that, I pray you was edified, call halal Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kadash. Again, double honors to the apostles, the elders, the bishops, and the prophets of Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Magan Shalom Shalom.